Being early isn't always easy, but guys, it is often extremely rewarding. In this video, we're going to take a look at exactly where we are in the grand scheme of cryptocurrency adoption and what's around the corner. Guys, this is so important to understand because I think people are really missing out on something that's super critical to understand and where we are right now. Guys, make sure to stick around for this whole thing. We're also going to go over a chart at the end of the video. Like always, you support me so much with this channel. Thank you, everyone who likes and subscribes. And with that said, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoyed the content. Guys, I think this is a really important video for everyone to see because it's really going to put things into perspective in terms of where we stand right now in terms of other extremely powerful technologies. Now, this right here is one of my favorite charts I have ever seen. It shows Bitcoin adoption versus the internet. And they use Bitcoin loosely here. It's really crypto adoption versus the internet. But what you can see is at the moment, crypto adoption is outpacing the internet itself, all while actually lining up with the extremely early days of the internet's creation. If you were to compare to where the cryptocurrency industry is right now to where the internet was at an equivalent time, we're in about the 2000 era of the internet. Is it any coincidence that we just had a massive blow up just like the dot-com bubble did? Maybe, maybe not. But it's so important to realize that so many people don't want it to be as early as it is. So many people want that mass adoption to already be here and to have that 2010, 2015, 2020 era of the internet, where the technology is completely solidified, part of every person's daily life, and no business can live without it. Well, guys, the important thing to understand is that is the trajectory we're on. We're actually on a faster trajectory than what the internet did. So people need to realize that the internet had very slow adoption in the early days as well. Or that's what it seemed like at the time. Looking back, it was so silly to worry about it. It was so trivial to worry, oh, is it actually going to get adopted? Are we doing the right things? Are companies just going to have their own private version of the internet? Those were all the worries at the time for the investors. But looking back, none of it really mattered because the internet was so powerful and being adopted so quickly, it didn't feel like it at the time, but it was, that the tidal wave that was coming was virtually unstoppable. Now, the funny thing is everyone looks back at a lot of the internet companies today and they say, oh, well, if only I just invested in Amazon back in that 2000 era, right? Back when Amazon was just a couple dollars, back when Amazon was 50 cents, right? If only I had invested then. Well, guys, that is the era we are in right now with cryptocurrency technology. And guess what? We are actually on a more certain path than even the internet was in those very early days. Now, guys, you need to understand that it wasn't super simple and easy, and it didn't feel very good to be invested in those internet companies in those days. Amazon, Google, Apple, they all crashed 90+% coming out of the dot-com boom. And guess what? At that time, everyone was questioning whether or not the internet was ever really going to be important. But guys, the smartest people in the room, the experts, understood that it didn't matter what these cycles were doing. The asset prices at the time were insignificant to where this technology was going to take things over the long run. In those very early days, it was extremely hard to foresee what the internet would develop into. It was extremely hard to understand how it would be incorporated into every single person's daily life. But guys, those were the things that happened with adoption. That's the kind of stuff that happened when regulations got rolled out. That's the kind of thing that happened when institutions passed the internet down to their end clients. It's not that every single person just started coding up internet applications. No, but the businesses that they were already using adopted it in a meaningful way where suddenly your average person was suddenly an internet user. And guys, crypto is going to follow that exact same adoption curve. But the thing that I just think people need to understand is being frustrated in these early days was not any kind of significance or any kind of tell to what the future would hold. And in fact, it actually presented a whole bunch more opportunity. Because if the market had valued the internet at its price for the future in those very early days, guess what? There would be no profit to be made. There would be no 50-cent Amazon in 2001. What allowed the growth to happen, what allowed the value appreciation, what allowed people to get rich was being able to price in the misunderstanding the market had. In 2000, the biggest companies in the world were oil companies. And the idea that Amazon could be a $3 trillion company was absolutely laughable. But guys, it wasn't laughable to the people who understood the power the internet would be able to deliver. And the truth is we now have the perfect reference point to guess what is going to happen with crypto. And guess what? It is outpacing even what the most powerful, most disruptive technology ever did to society. So understand that low prices in these very early days, the uncertainty, the worry, the kind of, oh, well, I don't know if this is the right thing. I don't know if it's going to do what I'm supposed to do. That is absolutely normal. The thing that's important to understand is the adoption still going? Is this technology continuing to get more critical to human life? Is it being pushed into the major financial institutions? Is it being adopted? And the answer is unequivocally yes. ETFs, tokenization, all of this is exploding into the mainstream narrative. But people are so hyper-focused on what the price is doing at any given time, they lose track of that. Guys, the narrative for Amazon didn't matter in 2000. It didn't matter how many different people were moving to e-commerce. It didn't matter how many companies were setting up websites. It didn't matter how many companies were relying on compute. None of that mattered to the stock price because the stock price was just in this big tiff of not understanding what the end value prop was. Even the biggest firms that claimed to be bullish on the internet, they couldn't wrap their head around where this was going to go. And guys, the same is true for blockchain technology today. So understand the period we're in right now is nothing short of an extraordinary opportunity. It's hard to feel like that sometimes. It's hard to see that. But if you just superimpose your life right now in the early 2000s and you were staring right in the face of a 50-cent Amazon and a 20-cent Apple and a 30% Microsoft, guess what? It was the same exact feeling then. There is no reason why this outcome would be catastrophically different. There's no reason why the crypto adoption wouldn't lead to far more wealth creation in the future. But guess what? That only comes with time. That only comes with the market learning and the market understanding. Because right now we hear the same exact narratives for crypto as we did for the internet. Oh, XRP can't go to $200. That would be this market cap. Kind of like what they said with Amazon. Oh, Bitcoin can't go to $1 billion or it would be this market cap. Kind of like people said with Nvidia. All of these things were narratives that at the time seemed hyper unrealistic until the adoption happened. And then it was put right in front of their face. And it's not some extraordinary one-time super lucky event. Go take a look at any single internet company that you hear on a weekly basis. And go take a look at the long-term stock chart. Almost all of them are up and to the right. It didn't take some super genius to figure it out. All it took was a little understanding of the internet and what companies were winning the race. And that's what I think people really need to sit back and understand. You can't get so fed up with the market's lack of understanding of where this goes over the long run, because that's where the opportunity is created. The truth is the technology is so powerful, the adoption will be forced, and eventually the market will have no choice but to realize it. Do you think people back in 2002, 2003 were super bullish on the price chart of Amazon? Absolutely not. But people who were too hyper-focused on that ended up missing out over the long run. None of that price mattered. It's all just chump. You can't even see the dips and peaks. The truth was the eventual adoption was going to price all that early market movement out. And guys, if blockchain technology wasn't being adopted by the largest financial institutions, if tokenization wasn't happening right in front of us and ETFs being ushered out and all this extremely positive stuff, it would be a different conversation. Just like if the internet just turned out to not be that valuable and we were just going to keep using mail and keep using the radio and keep using all the traditional ways of communication. But guess what? That never was really a realistic view of anything because the internet was so much more efficient. The traditional financial system has needed an upgrade for a very long time, especially the rails themselves. And they haven't been able to fix the most basic things that crypto was able to fix in 2013. Still to this day, they can't do it without crypto. That should let you know on its own that the adoption is inevitable. And guys, no matter how much people want to hyperfixate on what the price is today and what the max potential is, it does not matter. Because anyone who hyper-focuses on those super trivial things missed out on the bigger picture in the internet. So guys, understand that this period we're in right now, while it can feel frustrating, you would have never thought it was frustrating looking back on Amazon this entire time. And if you can just get yourself to accept the fact that that's where we are and this runway is ahead of us, then guess what? None of this matters anyway. What XRP did yesterday versus tomorrow versus next week versus 2 months ago versus 3 months into the future, none of that is going to matter on the grander scale. But being frustrated, being fed up, and not investing into the things that you fully understand, into the future that you think can happen, that's where people missed out. So guys, honestly, I think we're going to be looking back at this years into the future and saying, this was one of the greatest value creation opportunities we have ever seen. And if you're able to just capture that mindset, capture that positivity, capture that future outlook for where we're going, then this is nothing more than an opportunity. Guys, I do these videos, especially in times like this, because people need the price chart to oftentimes reconfirm and reaffirm their emotions. But guys, if you can look past that and see the greater picture and the grander plan for where we're headed, nothing we're seeing in the short term matters other than the fundamentals. And guys, the fundamentals right now are telling us that this is going to be one of the most important, one of the most valuable, and probably one of the greatest asset appreciation moments in history. If you can stay on the train, if you can sit there and ride it out, you're going to be part of it. But if you're too hyper-focused on what is happening on any given day, guys, that's how people shook themselves out of the greatest internet companies of all time. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you guys enjoyed this update. For now, Mickle out.